In this video, we're going to be evaluating trigonometric functions. Specifically, when we're given the sine of theta equals -4/7 and the cosine of theta is greater than 0. And we're going to find the cosine of theta and the tangent of theta. Now, it's important to note that when we see that we've got the sine of theta being less than 0, which is what we have right here, right? Negative number. And when we have that the cosine of theta is greater than 0, again, what we have given here, that means that we're in the fourth quadrant. So as I were to look at that fourth quadrant, we could say that our angle is going to come all the way to here, -4/7. So we're starting here, our initial side, and we're going to move around in this direction to -4/7. Now, if we want, we could think of this as its reference angle as well, right here. That we were just getting to move down in that negative direction. And so we can use Pythagorean's theorem to help us with that. So we can make a right triangle. So we can go ahead and connect this, make our right triangle right here. And we know that that's going to be, because sine is y/r, that tells us that we're going to have a y value of this -4 because we're going down 4. In fact, we don't really need the negative. Let's really just use the positive. That's okay. Actually, let's use the positive because we're talking about the distance of a leg of a triangle. And then we've got our r value, our 7, right there. So we want to find this value right here, our x value, because that's going to help us with cosine. Because remember that cosine is the x over our r, or our adjacent over our hypotenuse, and tangent is our y value over our x value. So we definitely need that adjacent leg. Because it's a right triangle, we can use Pythagorean's theorem. And remember that Pythagorean's theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So let's go ahead and let's take our a to be our adjacent side. So x squared plus the other leg of our triangle, in this case, which is 4. And then we're going to go ahead and square that, equals our radius squared. So 7 squared. So we have x squared plus 16 equals 49. We'll subtract 16 from both sides, and that's going to give us x squared equals 33. From here, to finish solving, we're going to square root both sides, and that's going to give us x equals plus or minus radical 33. But we don't need the negative because we're not talking about negative things. We're talking about positive because we're talking about distance. So the square root of 33, and that's going to be our adjacent value there. And we can plug that in right into our x values here. So as we take a look at the cosine of theta, we can then say that we've got the square root of 33 over r, which in this case is a 7. So our radius can never be negative. And the reason why we're also taking a positive radical 33 here is because we were told that our cosine needed to be greater than 0. So our x value is going to be greater than 0 there. And now for tangent. So we're finding our tangent of theta. We're going to have our y value, so -4. Because remember, we were going down, right? So -4 over our x value of radical 33. And we can't leave it like this. We need to rationalize that denominator. So we're going to go ahead and multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the square root of 33. And that's going to end up giving us that the tangent of theta is in fact -4 radical 33 over 33. And now we've got our two answers, cosine of theta and our tangent of theta, using the given sine values and restriction for cosine. Another way that we can make sure that we have the right positivity and negativity is to remember our saying all students take calculus. in which case in this first quadrant here, all of our trig functions are positive. In the second quadrant, only sine is positive with our cosecant. In quadrant 3, only tangent and cotangent are positive. And down here in quadrant 4, the only thing that should be positive is cosine and secant. Thus, our cosine is positive, but our tangent is negative because we are dealing in quadrant 4.